I started work with the Chronicle Herald in Halifax when I was in my mid-teens, actually, and I hadn't finished high school, but I got a job with the Chronicle Herald first as an office boy and later got a chance to go on the editorial staff as a reporter. I eventually became what is known in the news business as a two-way man. I was both writing and doing photography. I worked with the Chronicle Herald as a reporter-photographer for probably about almost 5 years. And then I left and joined the Canadian Press in Halifax in 1960. And 3 years later, I was transferred to Vancouver. When I started working with Canadian Press in Vancouver, of course, it was natural that people would inquire about Nova Scotia because they knew I was from Nova Scotia. And it suddenly dawned on me that, gosh, I didn't have any pictures to show of Nova Scotia. I had worked as a photographer for a period of about 5 years, shot lots of pictures, but never really anything with a tourism bent to it. It was always photos that were related to the news stories that I was doing. When I got back to Nova Scotia, I started to make up for lost ground, and I started to photograph the province very, very extensively. We looked at our lifestyle in Vancouver, and we looked at our potential lifestyle back in Nova Scotia based on what we had experienced up until the time we both moved to the West Coast, and we just felt that this is where we wanted to be. And I gave up a really good high-paying job in public relations business out there. I was making really good money, but I decided no, money wasn't everything, and I came back to Nova Scotia. And it was a wise move. I never regret it to this day. At first I was running some photographic stores, and I had photographic retail stores in Halifax, Dartmouth, Fredericton, New Brunswick. But by the mid-'80s, I started to lose my interest in that type of business and eventually consolidated and eventually closed my final store. And at that time, I had already done an assignment for Nova Scotia Tourism, and I had the opportunity to do a few other things for them. So it was in 1986 that I really divorced myself from the retail photographic side of business and got into photography full-time. Again, as a contract photographer with Nova Scotia Tourism. That turned into a 25-year job. I don't think that there's a road in Nova Scotia that I haven't been up and down at least 12 times or more. And I know the province like the back of my hand, and I haven't lost my enthusiasm for it, even though I've been photographing it for 25 odd years. I've shot over 500,000 images of the province. And you'd think after that period of time and so many images that I would have run out of things to photograph. But you know, it doesn't matter where you go or what you photograph, it always seems to be different. Photography for me is an occupation, but it is also a hobby. And even though I retired last year from my contract with tourism, I still never have a camera too far from my fingertips, and I still love to take pictures around the province, and will continue to do so as long as I can pick up a camera and point it in the right direction. It boils down to a matter, if you're doing something and you're really enthusiastic about what you're doing and you're passionate about it, you're going to get a tremendous amount of satisfaction out of what you accomplish. And it's not dollars and cents that are the driving force, at least for somebody like me.
Meeting people from all over the world, that's my favorite part. I love that anyone who walks in the door is going to have some story to tell. And the connections that I've made with people here have been amazing.